Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om pranams to you all. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om pranams to you all. We are all sharing. Hari Om. Please sit down. Hari Om. So we were going through Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So 4th chapter 10th sloka we have completed. Today we are going to go through 4th chapter 37th sloka. Sloka number 37 and 38. Integral yoga. Jnana, Bhakti, Karma. This is about Jnana. So, fourth chapter, 37 and 38. Yadhaidamsi samidhognihi bhasmasat kurute Arjuna jnanagnik sarvakarmani bhasmasat kurute tadha nahi jnanena satrusham pavitramiha vidyate tasvayam yoga samsiddhaha kalenatmani vindati. So first 37. As a blazing fire reduces all fuel into ashes. Blazing fire reduces all fuel into ashes. So, O Arjuna, does the fire of spiritual knowledge reduce all actions to ashes? Just as fire reduces to ashes a huge pile of wood, yadhaitamsi samidhogni. Yadhaidamsi is fuel. Yadhaidamsi samidhognihi. As fire that has been lit up, bhasma satkurute Arjuna, reduces to ashes. O Arjuna, jnanagnihi sarva karmani bhasma satkurute tadha. Similarly, the fire of Jnana thus burns to ashes all actions and only Jnana remains. All actions are burnt. Only Jnana remains. Jnana Swarupa. Jnana is our true nature. Jnana is our true nature. That alone remains out of this process. That is how Jnana is being praised here in a series of verses. As referred to earlier, Jnana Agnihi, the fire of spiritual knowledge, is a beautiful concept. Just like the Jatara Agni, that is digestive power, fire, no, which we all have. In this 15th chapter he talks about Jatara Agni, which also I had referred to earlier. That knowledge fire will burn all unwelcome experiences. So when we take the experiences, when it goes, like a food, how we digest with digestive fire, same way he will burn up all negativities from that experience. Only Jnana remains, my Swarupa remains. That knowledge fire will burn all unwelcome experiences. That is refining. Leaving no trauma behind, as I had referred to earlier. This is what all people need to develop as the consummation of their character. High character means a tremendous blazing fire of spiritual knowledge within. So that fire should burn this. So refining means not anything else. When an experience is taken inside, then that like a digestive power fire, no? It will, the Jnana Agni will burn all the unwelcome experiences. Only our Swarupa will remain, that is Jnana. Beautiful way of putting it. That knowledge fire will burn all unwelcome experiences, leaving no drama behind, as I had referred to earlier. This is what all people need to develop as the consummation of their character. High character means a tremendous blazing fire of spiritual knowledge within. A Gandhiji had a tremendous blazing fire of jnana within. So also all great spiritual teachers, ordinary human beings, those who are exceptionally good, also manifest this fire of jnana. Ordinary human beings, those who are exceptionally good, also manifest this fire of jnana. So this is not a theory, not a dogma, but a truth to be realized by everyone. When you light the fire of jnana, you are able to handle all your mental troubles and tensions. Today there is so little of jnana fire in modern humanity. Therefore, so much of trouble, psychic trouble, nervous trouble, and tendency to violence and suicide. But when this jnana fire is lit up, then we shall achieve that stability. Nothing evil can remain, because fire destroys everything. Nothing evil can remain, because fire destroys everything. Even the kachada, rubbish, you put into the fire is burned down. Whatever we put to the fire, it will be burnt. So this is how the idea of jnana as fire is very much expounded and prized in this section of the Gita. Yadhaidhamsi samidhognihi bhasmasat kurute Arjuna jnanagnihi sarvakarmani. All karmas are burnt. Only jnana remains. What is jnana? Jnana is my swarupa, real nature. Jnanagnihi sarvakarmani bhaskasat kurute tatha. So next verse, let us see. And the next sloka adds one more dimension to the price of jnana. Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitrameha vidyate. Tasvayam yoga samsiddhaha kalenatmani vindati. Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitramiha vidyate. There is nothing so purifying in this world as jnana. Pavitra means purifying. You wash your clothes with soap. Your body also with water and soap. All that is good for the body. But for the rest of the human system, the only purifying agent is knowledge. Outside, body, cloth, all that we do it with the soap, water and all. But what happens to the total? You wash your clothes with water, your body also with water and soap. All that is good for the body. But for the rest of the human system, the only purifying agent is knowledge. Nothing is so purifying as jnana in this world. Iha means in this world, in this human life. Tasvayam yoga samsiddhaha kalenatmani vindati. When you get perfection in yoga in course of time, you realize it in yourself, not second hand. When you get perfection in yoga in course of time, you realize it in yourself, not second hand. It may be a small fire to begin with, but it will become a mighty fire that will come to you, because that is your true nature, says Vedanta. You need not beg for it or borrow it. Kalenatmani vindati. You achieve in course of time. You cannot be hurrying it through. It takes time to build up this fire and to get that blessing from the fire of knowledge. Atmani vindati. You will enjoy it in yourself. You will experience. Yes, there is that fire within me. Minor troubles will not trouble me now. Suppose you are able to tell that, what does it mean? That means that you have already lit up that fire of knowledge. When you are able to overcome major troubles, then you can say, yes, that fire has now become stronger, much more powerful. In this way, there are people who can stand a good deal of stress and strain because they have this fire within. Within all of us it is there, but they lit. Others who have very little of this fire get upset over little things. Just like what we say in neurology, the threshold of pain is different in different people. Some people can stand a little pain, some people cannot stand even a little bit of pain. In 1933, we had young students in my hostel in our Mysore ashrama. We got a doctor to inoculate them against malaria. Most of the students could stand the injection, but one or two students, as soon as they saw the needle, they fell unconscious. Seeing the needle, they became unconscious. You can imagine. So therefore, how little fire of jnana is there in such a person? But even he can change. He can build up strength later on. So in this way, you will find that the capacity to handle life successfully depends upon the jnana fire you lit up in your heart, the fire of spiritual knowledge. If that fire is fine, burning bright, you can stand any nonsense. If that fire is fine, burning bright, you can stand any nonsense. You will not be disturbed at all. That is a steady mind. That is called a steady mind. Sri Krishna has already spoken about it at the end of the second chapter, dealing with the Sthita Prajna, the man or women of steady wisdom. Here in this chapter, he is expounding this subject in some more detail. Lighting the fire of knowledge is a beautiful conception. All knowledge is meant for that. All knowledge is meant for lighting up that spiritual knowledge, the fire. The knowledge that you get in education is not meant to be merely book knowledge, but knowledge manifesting an integrated character. That is how you realize you have lit the fire of knowledge in your heart. Nahi jnanena sadrusham. There is nothing equal to jnana. When the Mysore University was started over 70 years ago, they took this sloka as the motto. Nahi jnanena sadrusham. Nothing equal to jnana. What a beautiful conception. Our mottos are wonderful, but universities rarely try to come up to the motto. Just like our democratic states' national motto, Satyameva Jayate, truth alone triumphs. And our nation now follows the opposite, Satyameva Jayate. That is why mottos do not play a very big part. Unless there is a will to translate motto into lived experience. Who will get jnana? The next 2 or 3 verses deal with this subject. You must have Shraddha, positive faith Without Shraddha, there is no knowledge. That is the next verse it is going to say. Shraddha is needed. Last Sunday, about 300 students attended the youth conviction here. Among them, some 4 had inscribed their names on the chairs in this hall. They never asked the question, should I spoil this chair? That shows that discrimination fire, that Jnanagni had not been lit up in themselves yet. Is it worthwhile? Is it proper? That is how one will light the fire of discriminative knowledge. In small instances, you can experience in life this presence of the fire of knowledge. The whole conduct then becomes transformed. These are all instances where in our whole education there is not that sufficient lighting of the fire of yajna. There is reading of books, hearing lectures, memorizing something and passing examinations. But have you lit the fire of knowledge in yourself? That is what is said here in this. As the fire lit with wood reduces the wood to ashes, O Arjuna, so also the fire of knowledge reduces to ashes all actions. Now you know karma yoga, why we should take up karma and all, no? Karma should burn and then only knowledge should remain, the fire. Actions will be reduced to ashes by the fire of knowledge. That is the supreme uniqueness of the human being. He or she acts, but the prompting must come from a deeper source, namely that fire of spiritual knowledge, by which the whole of life becomes well organized, well disciplined, and fruitful from every point of view. In the language of today's astrophysics, we can say in the beginning there was nothing except the background material in its immovable condition. Anidavatam. In the way the ancient Rig Veda puts it, it existed without any movement, without any action, without any karma, or what they call in modern philosophical language, any process. Process had not begun. The universe is a product of process. Behind the process is pure being. Then comes this process, reality and process. And later at the end of a cosmic cycle, the whole process is transformed back into reality. What we are now experiencing is the acceleration of the process. When that big bang took place, starting the process, every fraction of a second the world started passing through process. More and more the concrete world was coming into existence. In the beginning it was not a concrete world. In that state of singularity, electrons, protons, gravitation, etc. never existed during the first few moments of cosmic evolution. Slowly they began to differentiate and manifest. Then this substantial universe in which we all live and function came into being later. These are all called process only, up to the human level. Then process cannot do anything by itself. It has no freedom. But when evolution reaches the human level, the human being has the power to return the process back into being. This comes from jnana. This karma becomes transformed into jnana. Karma becomes transformed into jnana. So human beings can understand the source from which we and the universe have come. We can become one with it. No object or non-human species of living beings in the world can do so. Only a human has got the capacity to do this. That is because in the Vedantic conception, the background material is not a mere material entity. It is pure consciousness, infinite and non-dual. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Brahman is truth, consciousness, and infinitable, says the Taittiriya Upanishad. Sri Shankaracharya says in his commentary on the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the Puranikas hold that this dissolution of the universe or pralaya is natural, while that which is consciously elected by the knowers, while that which is consciously affected by the knowers of Brahman through their knowledge of Brahman is called extreme dissolution through their knowledge of Brahman, which happens through the cessation of ignorance. Pauranikas means the writers of the several Puranas. They expound both the manifestation of the universe from the non-dual Brahman as its source and its final dissolution in Brahman after several millions of years. This is also what modern Western cosmology says, except that source is not consciousness but a highly dense background material. Therefore, no human being can experience that background material. The truth alone makes a great difference between Vedanta and Western cosmology. So that is what humanity has been endowed with, the capacity for Gnana. It is through Gnana you go back to your own source, which is also the source of the universe. That's why Papa says, go to the origin of your and the world. We are supposed to go to our origin and the world origin. We should find out. So this kind of understanding, what is that? What is this universe? What is this universe? Where has it come from? What is its true nature? What is my true nature? This kind of understanding, the whole process of it is known as Gnana. So Gnana is able to take us back to the original state, to understand what is that ultimate reality, that Brahman. All cosmic matter is subject to process. We human beings are also partly being processed by nature, but we can also process ourselves. We can stop the process of nature. We have that freedom. This is what takes us to the higher levels of Gnana. No non-human species in the world has Gnana except of the most elementary kind. They can understand this little material world. So in Devi Bhagavatam also this is explained. Swamiji says, the glory of the Divine Mother. All these creatures, their knowledge exists only in their sensory apparatus, that's all. Nothing higher than the sensory knowledge. Some sensations come and some reactions takes place. That action-reaction process is the knowledge they have, all limited by the sensory system. It is only in the human being that we find the capacity to go beyond the sensory level of knowledge into the intellectual level of knowledge. That knowledge can be further developed into the knowledge of ultimate reality, the Brahman. That reality's name itself is knowledge. It is Jnana Swarupa or Chit Swarupa. The process called by mistake creation starts with I am one, let me become the many. In the beginning, the Lord was only one. Then I am one, let me become the many. In the process of cosmic evolution, that consciousness remains latent and becomes patent when cosmic evolution rises to the level of organic evolution. When that organic evolution proceeds further and further, the truth of consciousness manifests more and more, developing into self-consciousness in the human being, from being only conscious of the objective world in the pre-human species. The human being evolves to realize the eternal purity, freedom and universality of the infinite consciousness or Brahman or Atma. That ultimate reality is beyond name and form. Ultimate reality, consciousness is beyond name and form. But some tentative name has to be given to understand it. Hence the words Atman or Brahman. So Atman only signifies that the truth of Atman, self, is really beyond the scope of the term, the concept of Atman or the self. So it is this evolution that results in the development of what the Gita has referred to as Jnana and Jnanagnihi. It cannot be produced from the dull, dead material background of the current modern Western astronomy. How childish it looks to trace Einstein's theory of relativity or the infinite compassion of a Jesus or a Buddha to that background material. The Gita will tell more about this and give a wider definition of nature than what modern Western science understands. In 7th chapter, 4th verse. Therefore, yes, it is a great challenge before the human mind. Let us be part of the cosmic process, but let us be also the observer of that process. That is a wonderful word, observer. In Sanskrit, Sakshi. Observer in Sanskrit we call as Sakshi. You are outside of it. You are watching it. You are seeing it. You are trying to know it, you control it. Then you turn to yourself. Try to understand the body, its various sensory systems, psychic system, and what has beyond it. What is my true nature? That infinite Atman, our original source, that pure consciousness is pulsing in me. I can realize the truth. This is something wonderful. That is the supreme uniqueness of the human being. Sakshi. That is why we are able to see, no? You are outside of it. Observer. That's why objectivity. We should be like a Sakshi. What all is going on? Because I am not in that, I can see, we can see. You are seeing it, you are trying to know it, you are watching it. The famous mathematician mystic made a beautiful statement. In space, the universe engulfs me and reduces me to a pinpoint. In space, the universe engulfs me and reduces me to a pinpoint. That is the first sentence. Physically speaking, spatially speaking, what are we? A small speck of dust in the immensity of the universe. That is called part of the cosmic process. Is it up? Having said this, in the next sentence, he says, but through thought we understand that universe, that infinite universe that is engulfing me. We are able to comprehend it with this power of thought when Jnana appears in us. That is the greatest mystery of the human being. We are able to comprehend it with this power of thought when Jnana appears in us. That is the greatest mystery of the human being. If you don't accept this mystery, you have not understood even a bit of the science of human possibilities. This is slowly dawning physical science, especially its nuclear science today, where the observer is becoming an important datum for investigation. By the act of observation, we change the nuclear phenomena. Therefore, it is a big datum to be investigated. Anyway, let us try to investigate it. That is the situation in physical science. So, the Gnanam which is mentioned in this 37th verse is that infinite pure consciousness. Not any other Gnana. Infinite pure consciousness. Pulsing in you and me and in all. Pulsating in all of us. We neglect it. We don't take care of it. In our day-to-day life, when we go to school and try to gain knowledge, we are actually engaged in seeking the pulsing of knowledge ever within us, says Swami Vivekananda. Education is the manifestation of the perfection already within the human being. That is what Swami Vivekananda says. Education is the manifestation of the perfection already within the human being. But we mostly neglect it. We only stuff the brain with some facts and formulae and live an indifferent life, just like a part of the process of nature. What about your uniqueness? That is what you have to discover. When you do so, this sloka becomes meaningful. Sarvam karmakhilam partha gnane parishyati. All karma in its entirety, O Partha, finds its consummation in gnana. All this process came from the infinite consciousness, the infinite reality behind this universe, from Brahman. In our Sanatana Dharma's theological language, we say Brahman as Vishnu, the infinite reality, prompted Brahma, the reservoir of all knowledge, who came from the navel lotus of Vishnu to evolve the universe. The entire process of the universe began from Brahma in the masculine. The other is Brahman in the neuter gender. So that is how in theological language as well as heuristic language we describe the nature of the reality and the process. Brahma knew that within himself is the infinite Brahman. He projected this universe out of himself. He projected this universe out of himself. It started with a spotha, that is explosion, through the mental activity of Brahma. Brahma heard a sound, looked around, nobody was there. Where from has this sound come? And what was the sound? It was tapaha, tapaha, do tapas. That is the sound. What kind of tapas? Gnana tapas. His tapas is Gnanamaya. We are also dealing with Gnanamaya tapas in the Gita. Through this Gnanamaya tapas, Brahma projected this universe. Tapas transformed itself into a cosmic process and it is still going on. Sri Krishna will tell further about this subject in the 8th chapter, 16 and 20. So this Indian truth of consciousness being the source of the universe and not a dense background material is being propounded by the erstwhile materialistic astronomer. Freud Holy in his new book, The Intelligence Universe, as I have mentioned earlier. So when we spiritually dissolve the universe in Brahman, we achieve something wonderful. When we spiritually dissolve the universe in Brahman, we achieve something wonderful. Process will still be going on, but we know that the whole process is nothing but Jnana Brahma. God in Vedanta means that infinite consciousness, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Where is it? Yo Veda Nihitam Guhyam. Who realizes it? Hidden in one's own heart. It hidden in one's own heart. That infinite one is present in the smallest particle in the universe. That is how we have to realize this truth. That is great thought occurring in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Gita is taking from the Upanishads the essential teachings, giving it in a form which will be very practical. So Sri Krishna says, try to convert all action into Jnana. That is its own source. That is what is meant by Sarvam Khalvidam Partha. Jnane Parasampyat. Sampyapti. Then try to know, see, this is what Jnana means, our true real nature, the pure consciousness. Then try to know the Jnana from people who can teach it to you. Then comes a higher price of Jnana. Nahi Jnanena Sadarshan Pavitram Iha Vidyate. There is nothing so purifying as knowledge in this world. All our children would benefit from going to school if only they know they are in search of Jnana. What great change will then come in the educational system and the product of that system. But there is absolutely no understanding of this subject at all. Neither from the teachers nor from the students. Tasvayam yoga samsiddhi. Kalenatmani vindati. When you are established in it, slowly you will achieve the highest realization of your own true nature. That supreme knowledge you will experience in yourself once you are established in this pursuit of Jnana. Even as a primary school student, continue that pursuit of Jnana. Eventually you will get the highest Jnana, undifferentiated, free from all limitations. That is God in Vedanta. Brahman is described by Vedanta as Jnana Swarupa, of the nature of Jnana, Anubhava Swarupa, of the nature of experience, Sat Swarupa, of the nature of truth. Shankaracharya writes in his introduction to his Brahma Sutras commentary, Atma Ekatva Vidya Pratipatye Sarve Vedanta Aradhyate. All the Upanishads are working to expand the realization of the science of the unity of the self, and then continues Anubhava Avasanam Brahma Vijnanam. Knowledge of the Brahman consummates in the experience of Brahman. By the knowledge of the chair, we do not get transformed into a chair. But when we know Brahman, we realize that we are Brahman. In the inner life, all knowing tends to be. Knowing means be. So all such knowledge is assimilation. Swami Vivekananda called education as assimilation of ideas. Whatever knowledge I take in, I become transformed into it. That is how character develops. That is where knowledge progresses smoothly from the secular to the spiritual. Swamiji's, how many pages he has written for one sloka. He could not contain. Take a village boy or a girl, put him or her to school. Already a purifying agent has come to them. He or she starts to understand oneself and to understand the world. Otherwise, he or she was just a creature. But a little education puts him or her on the road of shedding creatureliness. I am not an item among items. I am an individual. That is the beginning of Atmagnana. You continue it beyond the school and all institutional education and enter into spiritual education. This is what Sri Krishna is telling here, that you transform your whole life of activity into jnana, into pulsations of knowledge. When one is established in this yoga samadhi, being established in the yoga of jnana, he or she will achieve this knowledge of the Atman, kalena, in course of time. We are already in the old process, namely the evolutionary process. Now know that another process is taking you back to the source. Sitting in meditation is also a process. Sitting in meditation is also a process. You are developing a new type of process which takes you back to your own source, the infinite, the immortal and the divine. From Brahman we came, in Brahman we live, unto Brahman we return, says the Taittiriya Upanishad. From Brahman we came, then we live in Brahman and we return to Brahman, unto the Brahman. The second process is therefore significant so far as the human being is concerned. He or she alone can find out one's own origin. No other creature in the world can understand its origin except a human being. No other creature. That knowledge comes through the second process known as nivritti, well explained in the introduction. The other is pravrutti. Pravrutti means mind going out to the world. Here it is the mind going in, the whole of action becoming transformed from material to spiritual nature. The whole action becoming spiritual. There is nothing unspiritual in human life. In Vedantic vision, everything is spirituality. That infinite Brahman is in you, in me, in all, pulsing. We neglect it. Don't neglect it, says Sri Krishna. It is there in everybody, in everything. It is that which gives meaning to what you are and what you do. There is no divider between worldly and spiritual. Everything is spiritual only. That is what Papa says. So Sri Krishna also is telling that only. In everything, everywhere it is there. That infinite Brahman is in you, in me, in all, pulsing. We neglect it. Don't neglect it, says Sri Krishna. It is that which gives meaning to what you are and what you do. Otherwise, you remain a creature in the hands of the forces of physical nature, of those processes of nature. Don't be so, says Vedanta. Try to understand this truth. Sages have seen the same Atman in every being. That Brahman, which is transcendental, is also present in all of us. This is the living philosophy expounded by the sages. In the Svetara Upanishad, a sage having discovered this truth by this inward process of nivritti, discovered his own infinite Atman. And then when he looked out, he found the same Atman in everyone. Then he burst into a beautiful song he brought out to Papa. That's why Papa says when the ashram is started, There is an inaugural speech, it is there, board also is there. Papa said this ashram, what is the ideal? Ideal of the ashram is universal love and service based upon the vision of divinity in all beings, creatures and things. So universal love and service. How to do? He said based on the vision of divinity in all beings, creatures and things. So how to identify that divinity? What is the divinity? Divinity means, he said, the common thread, common denominator, common factor, one which is there in all. First we have to identify the divinity within our heart, within ourselves. Then when we come out with that experience, we will be able to identify the same divinity in all. Then only you will be able to do universal love and service. That is the purpose of this ashram. That is what Papa put it. So that sage, when he looked inside, he found that. Then when he came out, he found the same Atman in everyone. Then he could not contain. He brought out, thou art the man, thou art the woman, thou art the boy, Kumara, thou art also the girl, the Kumari, thou art the old man, tottering on the sticks, thou art born in these multiform ways in this world. That's why Papa could not contain. In quest of God, in the cave, in the last, outpourings he brought out, he could not contain. So many things are there like this. Papa gave a name to that consciousness, Ram. Ram, you are this, you are that. He could not, he was just outpouring so many pages. Everything is he, Ram, 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 Ram only for him. Because with that experience, he had the experience within first. That's why he was able to see that same Ram, that power everywhere and in everything. When he had that first glimpse of that experience, in the Tiruvannamalai, first he had that glimpses in the cave. When he came out, he started embracing the trees, plants and humans. He was running, stones, everything, he could not contain. That same divinity he started seeing everywhere. So when one realizes the Atman in oneself and looks out, he or she sees the same Atman everywhere. That is what has happened to Papa. In quest of God, the journey, throughout his journey, he only sees Ram in everybody, in everything. For him there is nothing except that Ram. So when one realizes the Atman in oneself and looks out, he or she sees the same Atman everywhere. There you have undertaken and succeeded in turning that cosmic process from your going out into your coming in, pravritti to nivritti. And pravritti is the source of all values, moral, ethical, spiritual. Pravritti is all source of all values, moral, ethical, spiritual. Blending of pravritti and nivritti is what makes for the stability of a civilization. This is what Shankaracharya told us in the introduction to his Gita commentary, which we refer to more fully in the beginning of this book. Gita is the supreme book which combines pravritti and nivritti as a totality of human life and human activity. So outside we should not neglect all source of values, moral, ethical, spiritual is there. So that and then in. So both should be combined. Gita is the supreme book which combines pravritti and nivritti as a totality of human life and human activity. So both are processes. One is outgoing, the other is incoming. When you begin to think, is what I am doing correct? You are already in nivritti. If you don't think of all, simply do, it is called pravritti. In today's politics and other areas of life, we can see so little thinking, so little nivritti and plenty of pravritti, full of noise, full of emotion and frenzy. That is why there is so much of violence and crime. There is no nivritti at all. It is nivritti that brings morality, ethics and other high values into society. Human society has to combine these two. That is what is called a complete philosophy of life, where all aspects of life are taken into account. That is the Vedanta, that is being expounded in the Gita, based upon the Upanishads, according to the statement given in Shankaracharya's introduction. Creatureliness and freedom are the choices before human beings. If I behave like this, I will remain a creature. If I behave like that, I become free. So, this is how Lord Krishna spoke about the jnana. Next, he speaks about the what type of people can get that jnana, how and how. So, our life is meant to know our real nature. Education also is meant for that only. Our life is given for that. We are not aware. We are only going out, having pleasure and finishing life going off like creatures. Real purpose is to know who really we are. So Anandashram, Papa, before starting his journey, he realized. That's why throughout in quest of God, his journey, he was able to see that Atma, that Ram only everywhere, in everybody, in everything. So we need to go within ourselves. That is what is more and most important. Deeper and deeper and deeper, all our activities should burn and become jnana. It is here in the cave, no? We will read Papa's outpourings. He could not contain so much. Outpourings when Ramdas resided in the cave, Kadri cave near Mangalore. O Ram, thou art father, mother, brother, friend, preceptor, knowledge, fame, wealth and all. Sole refuge thou art. Make thy slave merge always in thee, in thee alone. O Ram, what thy slave Ramdas should do or should not do must be determined by thee alone. It is bewildered, he is helpless. Make him resign all to thee. Let him live, move and have his being in thee. Let him eat, drink, sleep, move, sit, stand, talk, think, look, hear, smell, touch, do everything in thy name and for thy sake only. O Ram, O Divine Mother, Ramdas is thine totally, completely. Heart, soul, body, mind, everything. O Ram, thy slave cannot know what to think of thy infinite love. Shall he weep over it? Shall he smile over it? Shall he cry over it? Shall he laugh over it? Thy love is at times so grand, majestic, vast and gushing like the mighty ocean and its roaring waves. At times it is so soft, tender, gentle, silent like the mild flow of a tiny stream and her musical ripples. O Ram, keep thy slave always absorbed in thee. He is at once thy slave and thy child. He is willing to serve. He is willing to serve thee in every way according to the wisdom thou givest him. He is thy innocent child, looking always for thy guidance and security. Never allow him to leave thy holy feet. O Ram, never put him in a situation in which he would forget thee. O Ram, O Mother, save, save, save thy humble slave, thy ignorant child. O love infinite, infuse into the heart of this child at least a small measure of thy love. O Ramdas, drink, drink always the sweet nectar of Ram's love. O Ram, make Ramdas mad of thee, mad, 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 stark mad. He wants nothing beside this. Let him talk like a fool only of thee. O Ram, let the world declare him a madman, yes, mad of thee, Ram. Ramdas cares not for the opinions of this man or that. He is not to be bound. O Ram, see that he is not bound. Let him be bound only by thy shackles. Those are the shackles of thy love. But thy love is free. So where are the shackles? It is an enchanting freedom in fetters. O Ram, the madness of thy love, how sweet, how intoxicating, how charming. O Ram, purify the mind of thy slave. Let him not see evil anywhere. Let him not see faults in others, but only good. O Ram, have mercy on thy slave. Fill his mind with thy grace. Thou art the sole refuge of thy slave. O protector, loving parent of the whole universe, lift thy slave up from the consciousness of a narrow life in a perishable body. Make him realize thy infinite love. O Ramdas, rise, rise above the narrow limitations of your own making. Ram asks you in all love and kindness. Ram asks you in all love and kindness. Speed up, my child. Come up. Here is my hand. Grasp it and rise out of the bondage in which you are. O love, O life universal, O mother, O Ram. How glorious it is always to bask in the sunshine of thy loving influence. Like this, so many pages, what all came, he could not contain. Goes on and on and on. O Ramdas, you are in Ram and out of him. O Ramdas, you are in Ram and out of him. You are everywhere along with him. He is everywhere along with you. He cannot leave you. You cannot leave him. He is tied to you and you are tied to him. You are in his custody. He is in your custody. He cannot do without you. You cannot do without him. He lives in you and you live in him. Still, you are his slave and he is your protector. O Ram, thou art two, but thou art one. The lover and the loved in fast embrace become one. Two become one, and one remains everlasting, infinite, eternal love. O Ram, rave on, mind charged with the madness of Ram's love. O Ram, destroy Ramdas' desires, crush them out of him. Take him on and find his eternal abode in thee. O madness of Ram, O love, let harshness, wrath and desire leave Ramdas entirely. Pure, be his mind by thy grace. Ram, save him. O Ram, thou art love pervading everywhere. Ram, Ram, Ram everywhere. In, out, in all directions. Up, below, in the air, trees, earth, water, sky, space. In all is Ram. Is love. O Ram. Let thrill after thrill of the joy of thy love pass through the soul of Ramdas. O Ram, O joy, O love, O ecstasy, O madness, O goodness, no rest, no sleep, no food, no enjoyment, but thy divine love. Divine light, O joy, Ramdas remains steeped in the nectar of Ram's infinite love. O light, dazzle on. O flashes of lighting, O Ram's glory, flash on. O supreme happiness, O bliss, O joy, come on. O Ram, Ramdas is lost in thee, lost in joy, in bliss, untold, indescribable, lost in thy effulgence, in thy light, flash, everywhere flash. Love, everywhere love. So he was going through that experience, he could not contain outpourings, he brought it out. So much is there. Like that Mahatmas know when they experience. So they see only that one everywhere and in everything. Anyway, Bhagavad Gita means so much is there. Everything is there. Anyway, His grace is providing us an opportunity to go through this. He is making us only His grace. Hari Om, pranams to you all. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om, pranams to you all.